Hey everyone, welcome to the CSI Secret Store community call. Today is Feb 22nd, 2024. This call falls under the CNCF Code of Conduct. It's recorded and it will be published to YouTube. Please add your name to the attendee list. And then in terms of moderation, I can help moderate. Nilik, do you want to help take notes?
Yeah, I'll do that.
Thank you. And then in terms of agenda, we have one item, which is going to be a demo on Secret Sync controller. And Andrea will be doing a demo. But before we jump into the demo, just to give a little context on what this is and why we're doing it, today we actually support we have an optional feature in the Secret Store CSI driver that is used to sync the mounted content as Kubernetes secret. So what this means is in your secret provider class, you can define secret objects and what type of Kubernetes secret you need. And once the mount in a pod is successfully done, those mounted contents will also be mirrored as data key and value in a Kubernetes secret. This was not the right approach to take because it has a dependency on a pod with a volume mount need to be created. And then even if you don't need, if you need another pod to use the Kubernetes secret, you still need to have some kind of a dummy pod to create this Kubernetes secret. And then the lifetime of the Kubernetes secret is tied to the pod that requests the volume mount, which means if that pod for some reason goes away and restarts, then it's possible that this Kubernetes secret also goes away. The primary goal of the CSI driver project was to move away from Kubernetes secret and only do the volume mounts. So we have been working in the community and with SIGAuth basically to decouple these two things. And what this means is the CSI driver will only do the mount of secrets in the volume. And we will have a separate project, which is the Secret Sync controller that will be used for just syncing as Kubernetes secret. And as part of this decoupling, we are trying to reuse some of the well-designed abstraction and the interfaces that we defined in the Secret Store CSI driver. So one of it is obviously reusing the custom resources, secret provider class. And then the second thing is the model on how the driver or the controller would communicate with providers. And we have talked about this before. We had a demo with the POC. We have also presented this with SIGAuth and we have their blessing. And then in terms of API review, we're currently doing API review. So now I will hand it over to Andrea to show us where we are with it.
Sure, thanks, Anish. So I'll start by sharing my screen. Please let me know if you can actually see it.
Yeah, we can see
Okay,
it.
Great. So let's start with the secret provider class because, like Anish mentioned, we initially had a specific structure in the secret provider class to be able to synchronize an object as a Kubernetes object. Basically, after spec, we had to mention the secret objects that we want to be synchronized as secrets in Kubernetes. So now that we want to remove this feature from the driver, it doesn't make sense to have the fields in the secret provider class. In terms of the second part, basically the provider and the parameters for the provider, these are still relevant for both the CSI driver and for the secret sync controller, because the secret sync controller, again, like Anish mentioned, is going to work with the same list of providers as the driver. So now that we are removing the synchronization part from the secret provider class, the new format, sorry, I'll just share it like this. The new format of the secret provider class is going to be this, so easier. The question is, where do we add where do we add the data to synchronize secrets as Kubernetes secrets? We introduced a new concept called the secret synchronization class. And I have here an example of secret synchronization CRD, where basically we're going to specify what we previously had in the secret provider class, meaning the secret type and the data and where we want to create, how we want to create the secret. What's interesting to notice is that we're going to have one secret sync associated with a Kubernetes secret. So if we want, let's say, 3 secrets, we need to have 3 secret syncs. The name of the secret sync is the name of the secret in Kubernetes. And we also need to specify to reference the secret provider class name from which we are getting the cloud details, because the secret provider class is going to remain our interface with the cloud, while the secret sync is our interface with the Kubernetes secret store. Anish, Nilek, did I mention everything that would be of interest? Do you have anything to add here?
Do you just want to talk about why we have the service account name there and then the audience part?
Yeah, sure. So the secret sync is going to work with the federated workload identity. And in order to support this, we need to provide the service account. And we're doing this at the secret sync level. That's why we introduced it here. What was the second topic, Anish?
So the other one was configuring the audiences that's required.
Yes. Yeah. So in terms of what we can configure, we need to be able to provide a list of audiences, and this is going to happen at the secret sync controller level when we install it. In terms of other fields like the rotation pole interval and log verbosity, which were common in the CSI driver as well, we're gonna provide them for the controller as well. In terms of validating admission policies, these are some things that we introduced to enhance the security of the controller and also to help the user, because basically this secret sync controller will only have access to create allowed type of secrets. And we are piggybacking on the validating admission control policies that have been introduced in Kubernetes. And in terms of the way we would allow the user to configure their providers, we are basically providing a knob in the Helm chart, and the configuration can happen via the provider container. Okay, and with this, I think we can transition to the demo. So I already have kind cluster, and what I'll do, I'll just apply the spec for the secret provider class, and then I'll try to create a secret based on my configuration of the secret sync. And the secret was created, but what's more interesting is looking at what we have for the secret sync. We see that the secret and the secret sync are like one-to-one mapping in terms of name. And if we describe the secret sync, we notice that the secret was created successfully, and we have additional information like when we did the last sync and what's our secret provider class name and everything else like we would expect. And if we wait a bit, we're going to see that the secret is rotated and our conditions will be updated. Basically, we will be told that, okay, we updated the secret was updated, and we will understand whether the update succeeded or failed. Now, if I want to create a secret that we didn't authorize in our list, so remember what I was saying with our allowed list secret types and denied secret types.
Andrea,
Yeah,
sorry
go ahead.
to interject you here. So before we move on, so I see in the secret sync class, right? We have source path and target key and things like that. So do you mind like describing the secret so that it will be apparent like how it is
Yes,
being
sure.
created?
I can just use this because we have only one secret. So we can see the data,
right.
and then we can see the data here and how things are mapped.
Perfect, correct. Yeah, so now it is like it makes more sense to like visually say. Thanks.
Thank you. Oh, something else to mention here, and thanks, Nilip, for interrupting me, is basically what happens if we're deleting the secret. So first, let me describe again the secret sync. I don't know if, I think my pooling interval was 2 minutes or 1 minute. We noticed that the secret was updated, but no, we had no change because we didn't change the secret in the cloud. So we tried to update, but we didn't have to basically rewrite the secret. We did this as an optimization as well. Now, what happens if I deleted the secret? And we're going to wait again for a minute. The TLDR here is that the owner of the secret is the secret sync. So just by deleting the secret, if we have the rotation enabled, the secret is going to get recreated as long as the secret sync object exists. So in order to really get rid of this secret, we need to erase the secret sync object. Don't think a minute has passed.
Is there any minimum recommended value for secret sync, or it is similar to what users can do in Secret Store CSI today?
I put 2
Or like
minutes.
it is still driven by the downstream keyword that user might use, correct?
Yes, yeah, that's correct.
Cool.
So we saw that we erased the secret, but the secret got recreated. And if we are letting the secret sync, in this case, the secret won't get recreated. Now, something that I wanted to talk about also was the validating admission policies. So they are in beta, I think, in 1.28 now, and in alpha in 1.27. So I already allowed and denied some set of secrets. I will try to create service account token without having the policies enabled. So the secret, the service account token got created successfully. But if we are erasing it and apply the policies and then try to create it, we're gonna see what happens. So we erased it, just making sure. And I'm applying the policies. And now we're trying to create the secret again. So it tells us that it was created. However, we have no secret. And if we're looking at the secret sync and describe it, we will see that creating it failed, and that it failed because we have the validating admission policy check that failed. And that's what I wanted to share for today. Nilakanish, is there anything else that you would like me to share?
Like, do you want to go first?
No, I'm good. I'm just gonna say that
Okay.
this is good. So thanks for demoing it.
Yeah, I was just going to say, so I'll add a couple of things. So I think one of the reasons that we have the service account name in the secret sync class is very similar to what we do today with CSI driver. So CSI driver has a field called token requests, where you can basically define a slice of audiences that you want tokens for. And as part of the volume mount request, kubelet generates tokens for those audiences and then sends it as part of the RPC payload. Because we have the interface, we are reusing the interface that the driver uses to communicate with the provider. We're basically using that to generate the tokens in the controller and then pass it off to the provider. So that's the first thing. And then the second thing is providers don't have to make any changes. So we talked about this previously as well. Any provider that's written for the driver today will work without any changes for this secret sync controller. And like Andrea showed, basically the configuration is in the Helm chart. On a very high level, what we are thinking is for the controller, there will be a Helm chart repo, and the provider containers will just be a configurable field. So it's basically a blob that you can inject for any provider. And it will run as a sidecar within the controller pod. Like in CSI driver was a daemon set, and every provider had to run as a daemon set. But with the controller, because the controller is just a deployment, your provider will run as a sidecar with the controller. So the footprint is minimal. You only have like 2 pods or 3 pods based on like how many you want running. And we have leader election. So I think those two mainly, and that's mostly it. Yeah, and okay, yeah, the one last thing was, so yeah, Andrea mentioned about the secret objects field not being used in secret provider class, but rather used in secret sync. So obviously it's a change where secret objects was an array in secret provider class, and in secret sync we are proposing it only to be a single object. That's because we want it to be tied 1:1. So one secret sync tied to one Kubernetes secret. And I think the next question is, what does this mean for that field that exists in secret provider class? So we haven't made a decision on that. So like in terms of timeline, basically we want to have the controller, we want users to try it out. And once that is there, like once we move from alpha beta, like we will come up with a plan on how we would deprecate this feature in the driver. And deprecation of the feature also includes us making a decision on how we want to remove these fields from the secret provider class. So we don't have a timeline for that in terms of deprecation, but we will post all of that in the doc as we make progress, and also on Slack. But that's it. Sorry, go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, thanks, Anish, for everything. I didn't quite understand when you asked about the token and the service account, that this is what you're mentioning. Also, for the validating admission policies, those can be can be set to false. So basically, if you don't have the correct version of Kubernetes, you can disable them. We wouldn't necessarily recommend this from the security point of view.
Cool. But yeah, thanks, Andrea, for the demo. That was helpful. Okay. Any other topics that you all want to discuss?
I'm good.
Okay, then I think we all get like 30 minutes back. So thank you everyone for joining. Thank you again, Andrea, for the demo.
Yeah. See you all later. Bye-bye.
Yeah.